So the question is reared its head on social media, and I'm not going to say ugly head. I'm going to say it's reared its head on social media. It's a cyclical question about Black Greeks, and that is, why do you call yourselves Black Greeks? That question seems to be heating up, right? And I want to come off the dome on this thing. I'm not going to try to produce this video, but because I really want to speak genuinely. I want to speak from the heart on this, and uh, there are three things that I really want my fellow Black Greeks to think about when this question comes up. Number one, consider the source. Number two, consider that we call attention to ourselves. And number three, we're leaders. Consider the source. Some people really want to understand. They really don't know who we are, what we're doing. They don't understand the symbols on the jackets. They see us post pictures of ourselves all over social media, and they're just trying to get an idea of whether or not we are somehow paying homage to ancient Greece. They're really trying to understand that. Now, let's be clear. Some folks really are trying to start some mess. For the people who are trying to start some mess, blow them off, man. I don't entertain it, because you know they're trying to pick a fight. And there's so many of us, we go for the cheese all the doggone time. Look, I used to go for the cheese. I used to go for the bait. And I would say all these stupid things to people, and it would make me look bad. It would make my Alpha brothers look bad. And it would make the Greeks from the other 8 organizations look bad. I've seen cats go off on people saying, "Oh, you must have gotten dropped online. You must have got rejected. You got a GED." Come on, man. What are we doing? Don't go bust the rhymes on people, rah rah, like a dungeon dragon. No, no, no. Remember this quote: "Don't be upset by people or things. They are powerless. Your reaction is their power." They want that reaction. However, for the people who are not trying to do the gotcha thing with us, they're really trying to understand. Be gracious, be intelligent, be a servant, and just have that conversation. I remember that there was one brother who I went to go get some chicken from my parents from this place down the street from the crib where I grew up, and brother from the hood, he didn't know anything about fraternities. He looked at my jacket, and I got my black and gold on, and my man said, "What's that, AQA? You a Q dog?" And I just took the time to explain to him what Alpha was about and that whole thing. And you know what he did? He thanked me for taking that time. That really meant something to him, that I didn't turn my nose up at him. The other thing to consider when we're talking about considering the source, there's some people, they've been hurt by us. They have had some negative interactions with us. There are people, they've read about hazing incidents, and they're trying to figure it out. What are we all about? Are we serving people? Are we hurting people? And so if there are people who've had those negative interactions and those experiences, then understand that might be where they're coming from as well. And I'm not saying you have to issue a big blanket apology, but try to take the time to understand the reason for the question. Okay, and I've gotten blunt with some people. I've asked them, "Hey, are you genuinely curious, or is this a fight we're about to have? What's going on?" And that really, the people who are trying to start mess, they self-select. They take themselves out of that conversation. The second thing to think about is we call attention to ourselves. I know I call attention to myself. I mean, I love Alpha. I'm 47 years old. I still jump in the Alpha train with my boys. And listen, for all y'all who are about to say, "Oh, you too old for that," I jog. I like to play sports. I like to do Zumba. I like to dance. So I don't understand why I can't get in the Alpha train and get a little exercise. Anyway, we call that attention to ourselves. And we got to understand that. And when you call so much attention to yourself, what are people going to do? They're going to ask questions. It might be somebody who read something like Stolen Legacy, Miseducation of the Negro. And they're trying to understand whether or not we're just out here having a good time, or if we really do stand for something. Do we really stand for scholarship? Do we really stand for excellence? Do we really stand for servant leadership? Or do we really stand for brotherhood and sisterhood? And do we extend that brother and sisterhood beyond our organizations? And the third thing that I would say is we're leaders. Some of us have a hard time with that one. Some of y'all think you're Charles Barkley, right? You think you're gonna get up there on social media and start that, I am not a role model. Wrong. You are. You see, if you didn't want to be a role model, you shouldn't have been a member of a Divine Nine organization, because that contract that it wasn't one piece of paper. It was an extended contract when you decided to join your organization and you went through your membership intake process. That's an extended contract that lays out very clearly that we are following in the footsteps of some pretty serious people who helped change history. People like Alan Locke, Zora Neale Hurston, Martin Luther King, Dorothy Height. These people changed history, right? And we're following in their footsteps. So yeah, we did sign up to be leaders. And if you don't think you signed up to be a leader, I suggest you put yourself in a box. You put your stuff in a box, not yourself. Don't put yourself in a box. Put your stuff in a box and send it back to your national office. Because being a member of one of these organizations is not a right. It is a privilege. We chose to pursue that privilege. So we owe it to the community. We owe it to each other to treat it as such. And by the way, is servant leadership hard work? You're damn skippy it is. It's real hard work. It's hard work to see somebody coming for you publicly and to keep your head when all about you losing theirs and blaming it on you. It's really hard to keep your head then. But that's what we signed up for. All right? So to all my Black Greeks, don't get offended by that question. Even if it is somebody who's coming for you personally or coming for your letters, don't get offended. All right? Handle it appropriately. Be intelligent and be a servant. Peace and God bless.